And we wrap up with our final game on the card. Thank God it's on Dana's card this game, so he can finally talk. Washington against Anaheim. Anaheim minus 135, total 5.5, pretty much across the board. Washington off a good performance, 5-2 in that special outdoor game in Annapolis, Maryland, in the Navy Football Stadium, Memorial Stadium there. Toronto looked like they were happy to be there, having fun. The young kids were taking in and soaking up the atmosphere that night in the outdoor venue. Washington looked like they were coming to play and win a hockey game. There was a big difference between those two teams just in terms of focus, intensity. Toronto didn't look like they had their heads in the clouds in that game. Had a terrible start, never were able to recover. Give Washington credit, played a good game. We'll see if they could take it with them on the road, where Washington's been a little bit more erratic. Home to road performances, that's been a little bit of an issue for them. I got to see more out of Washington here. I've not been very high on this team for the longest time. I need to see consistency from them game to game, and I've simply not seen that for the better part of the last 2-3 weeks. We'll see if they can string two good performances in a row together against quality foes here tonight on the road against the Anaheim Ducks. For me, I don't think it's going to be a situation where it's a game I'm going to have too much involvement in, because I think Anaheim is a team that certainly has a chance to really have a good stretch run here down the stretch, because they're as healthy as they've been. They played better. John Gibson, the whole bit. Everybody's ready to go for this team. So for me, I'm not going to be involved. Dana is, though, with this Capitals Ducks team. There he is. He's waving his hand. He's ready to go. Washington, Anaheim. This is his third game on the card for this Tuesday slate. Ducks and Capitals. Dana, take it away. What you got?
You okay, Ian? How's the voice?
I'm good. My voice is fine. Actually,
You are good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Amazing.
You're a machine, man. You're like a wind-up host. You're amazing. Go get some water.
Energizer Bunny. He just keeps on going and going.
I will at least be a good 15 seconds on this. Anyway, hey, look. I argue with people all the time about this Ducks team, and I understand it because it's funny because when you talk to old school people, they want physicality. They still think that this is how you win Stanley Cups, and that may be how you win the West, but I'm not sure that that's how you win Stanley Cups. And yes, the Ducks are physical and the Kings are physical, and Vegas got more physical with Ryan Reeves. But the fact of the matter is, I still and it is a broken record with this Duck team. I still have no idea where the scoring is coming from. I don't know where it's coming from on a nightly basis. I don't know where it's coming from in the playoffs. And I just, when you're facing the Washington Capitals, I know exactly where the scoring is coming from in this game. And now you're going to give me the Caps at $1.25 at 5 times. I have no problem taking the Capitals team that has been there for a couple days. They're settled in. It's not like they just got there last night. They're settled in, and they're playing the first game of the Western road trip, which they should be absolute fresh. I mean, or at their freshest point. So I have no problem putting or supporting the Capitals tonight. I love where this team is right now. We saw during the Stadium Series, we had 5 different players score goals, and look, guys, I mean, this is going to be maybe the year where Washington makes some noise in the postseason, because nobody is expecting them, or even since last season, nobody expected the Washington Capitals to do as well as they've done this season. I think even Barry Trotz at one point was, he didn't really think. At one point, when they were talking about maybe it would be better without Ovechkin, I didn't really hear Barry Trotz coming to Ovechkin's rescue. So I think there was much clamoring for moving parts in Washington, which they did get, and of course, Ovechkin is still there. But I really like where this team is at right now, and like I said before, I struggle to find where the Ducks' offense is coming from, especially in enough to overcome the Capitals, whose top 2 lines have been absolutely fantastic. So give me the Capitals tonight and a plus price against the Ducks.
All right, Washington as a slight road underdog, plus 115. It is a that first game of the road trip spot's usually a good bet on spot for a lot of teams. We'll see if it is tonight for the Washington Capitals as they take on the Anaheim Ducks. They've had time, obviously, as Dana mentioned, Saturday to Tuesday following the outdoor game. Saturday night, get to the Pacific time zone, get acclimated to the time change. So not terrible in that regard, and we'll see. I mean, this is a game where if Washington is going to make me more of a believer. Go out on the road, have a good road trip against some of these Western teams, these West Coast teams that you always play it tough when they host them. So that's going to go a long way for me to try to change my opinion. Because right now, I don't have Washington as a legit threat in the Eastern Conference playoffs. I don't. I've got Pittsburgh in there, Tampa in there, Boston. Washington still, to me, I've seen that movie too many times with them. Of coming up short in the postseason, but you got to be able to go out, beat teams like this to maybe give me a hope that you can do things differently in the playoffs this year. We'll see if they're able to do that here tonight
Hey,
against the
you know
Anaheim
what,
Ducks.
Ian?
Yep.
Darth Vader always comes up short too, but nobody wants to face him. And to say that Washington is not a legitimate threat. I mean, I'm not. Listen, I don't have them high in my power rankings either. But does anybody really want to play them? I mean, it's anytime you. I don't want to play any team with Ovechkin on it for sure. And now Kuznetsov is starting to play well. I mean, and we know what we potentially could get out of Holtby. I mean, you could you can say all you want that they're not a legitimate contender and they're probably not to win the cup, but I don't know anybody that's going to raise their hand if they say who wants to play the Capitals in the first round.
Yeah, I don't like the defense still. I mean, I really don't. I mean, Carlson's great. I'll take him on my team. And Orpik now, to me, is making too many blunders. Christian Juice, still a young guy. Michael Kempney, I don't understand why they picked him up and threw him on a top four defensive pair for this Washington team. He's been a turnover machine since they've gotten him. I haven't liked what I've seen from him. He was actually responsible for one of the Toronto goals on the game on Saturday night. So that blue line leaves a lot to be desired. You got to love Ovechkin, obviously Backstrom. Jacob Vrana. Can they get him going? There was a time Jacob Vrana was scoring some goals for this Washington team earlier in the season. He's been quiet. Oshie's got to find a way to get things going again. He's had a little bit of a tough season. I don't know. Are you going to get something offensively from these bottom two lines? Is my issue come playoff time when Tampa can roll out third and fourth lines that can score. Pittsburgh can roll out third and fourth lines that can score. Toronto can. Boston even can. Washington, can they do that? That's going to be the question mark. Can your Chandler Stevensons and your Brett Connollys and your Beagles and Lars Eller be able to fire goals in the back of the net for you routinely? That's going to be the question. Depth of forward and a couple of parts of that blue line are a little bit of a concern for me with Washington. Never say never. I mean, they've got the coach to do it. Do they have that mindset to do it, though? Because, again, it's like a mental block, too, that Washington's got to overcome as much as anything they have to do physically on the ice. The mental block of repeated playoff shortcomings, playoff failures. We'll see if they will have another chance to right those wrongs this year, see if they can make good on it.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.